Sea of Thieves' first year of updates was a home run in my opinion, including Anniversary 2, and will always be looked back on fondly. Although one of those updates were not like the other, and I would call it the black sheep of the first year. I'm of course talking about Forsaken Shores. Before you start typing a rude comment, hear me out. Forsaken Shores was a fantastic update as far as comparing all the updates together, but when you compare it with the first 5, I think it really is bottom of the pile. Why is this? Well, simply put, the Devil's Roar is a bit of a blight on the map, and that wasn't entirely the issue when it released, but more so when content was added to the game later on. Forsaken Shores dropped in September 2018, hot off the back of Curse sales, just 1 month after it finished, and brought a wealth of new features, but most importantly, a new region to explore. Technically, this has never been done again and won't be done again until the Sea of the Damned expansion in Season 8. Wink wink. The Devil's Roar is the location in the southeast of the map, bordering the Ancient Isles and the Wilds, and actually wasn't a launch region, which would explain the weird shape of the Sea of Thieves map. Quick detour, but it looks like Rare had several map expansions planned but were either scrapped or delayed indefinitely. These were the Sea of the Damned, the Sea of Five Winds, and Sea of Sorrow, with the latter two possibly being situated in different corners of the map. You can see these in the art book. The difference with the Devil's Roar is they are offered more challenging gameplay, but with the opportunity for more lucrative voyages. Rare added Ashen versions of the Gold Hoarder, Order of Souls, and Merchant Alliance. Well, the last one came later. Oh, and they added Ashen Athena voyages too. These would spawn new Ashen loot which could be sold for higher reputation and higher gold value. Essentially, they were reskinned loot items. And what did you have to go through to get these done? The Roar has new hazards to deal with. Volcanoes would erupt, spewing boulders at players and the ship, destroying everything in their path. Geysers were another annoyance where they would fling you up in the air and hurt you upon landing. Lastly, earthquakes would turn your legs to jelly and cause your ship to drift if not anchored. Now, to counter this, Rare brought in rowboats, where you could anchor far out away from the shore, and then row in, get your loot, and row out. The rowboat was the best tool added in year 1 because of how much it opened up the sandbox, with tuck plays, stealth getaways, and other madness. But it wasn't so good to use in the Devil's Roar. It's kind of ironic really. See, many people don't know this, but the Roar used to be a lot more tedious. The version we have now has been nerfed quite heavily to a point it's somewhat balanced. We all know the islands are sentient, but if you played Forsaken Shores at launch, you would have been incredibly frustrated. In year 1, I mainly solo slooped, so the Roar was that much more treacherous. I remember on day 1, sailing over to an island, the volcano erupted pretty much as soon as I arrived, then just aimbotted me. I didn't even see my ship get hit, it was just gone. The rocks would seriously track you and your trajectory. It wasn't fun at all. If you were lucky enough to get away, eruptions could last up to 15 minutes. When the volcano would finally stop, you could make a dash to finish your voyage, but no. It would begin to erupt as soon as you set foot on land again. And you know how I mentioned the rowboat was meant to be the way around this? The island would just nuke your rowboat anyway, targeting it also, so you wouldn't be leaving if you did manage the happy landing. Luckily, Rare saw sense and altered the rate of eruptions and the aggressiveness of tracking from the debris. Now you can still get hit, but it's much better than it was. Anyway, back to those voyages. The only one that was actually harder were the Gold Hoarder ones, as you would be disrupted by the island hazards more than any other. On the other hand, Order of Souls is ridiculously easier because the guys fuck the skeletons up. If a skelly walks over one, even the captain, they're turned into a fine alabaster mist. It was and still is great fun. Do you also wonder why people always opt for Ashen Athena voyages? The worst part about doing them in the rest of the regions is the stupid sailing time. The last one I did started me on Plunder Outpost and had me sail all the way north and then back south to Cannon Cove. It took me fucking ages. You don't have that issue in the Roar. It will always span one region, making the sailing time that much more shorter. See, the voyages would be less tedious if it wasn't for the absurd sailing time. Not to mention, again, the skeleton battles are easier. The Merchant Alliance quests were a mixed bag. We did get the vastly less annoying and more interesting cargo runs with Forsaken Shores. They did launch a little later, but being able to feel like you're transporting cargo as a merchant, rather than golden pigs demolishing your food supply in 8 minutes, was a welcome change. Cargo runs make sense in the Roar as the cargo is destructible. It offers complementary gameplay, more hazards juxtaposing with greater rewards. They can feel a bit annoying at times, but overall this was a great way to make the least popular faction more bearable. Rare also added a new campaign, and previously we covered how bombastic Hungering Deep was. This one was... it was okay. The standout was the introduction of Stitcher Jim, one of the best characters in the game, where he got an awesome shanty and a teaser trailer to boot. The campaign had us finding fallen members of the Forsaken Alliance, and we'd learn a little bit about their deaths. It was a bit of a sour note compared to the last two, and Cursed Sails is getting its own video soon, so look out for that one. Finally, we got the Forsaken Ashes stuff, which I have to say is a fantastic ship set all round, and the clothing is very nice too. So overall, why was this always regarded as quite high in my estimation? Because I'm sure some long-time viewers will notice I've changed my opinion a bit. Despite not adding a whole lot in terms of changing the game, adding a whole new region is really impressive, and I won't pretend the community wasn't excited to explore all these new islands. It was a chance to discover the secrets of the map like we were doing 6 months prior. Along with this, it's not been done since, and I'm about to explain why. For something so volatile and exciting, the Devil's Roar is just a bit dormant. Ultimately, with Shrouded Spoils and subsequent updates that improved the economy in other regions, there was simply no point putting up with the tedium of the Devil's Roar. Even as soon as last week, Rare made the Devil's Roar that much more obsolete by phasing out the Ash and Athena with the Legend of the Veil. Fine, fair enough, it is a great voyage. Then, just a few weeks before, they removed the fleets from the Roar and moved them to a central location. Even now, what's the point of putting up with it? Maybe Gold Vaults or Order of Souls Emissary grinding? Obviously 3 Tall Tales take place there too, so that's something for newer players. Even when Rares tried to spice things up, such as when they added Molten Sands, no one bothered with it because the reward was not enough sailing all the way east for it, especially when you consider sinking means potentially a lifelong sail back. The last time I remember being excited to go to the Roar was when Heart of Fire came out, and even then, the Chest of Rage voyages were pretty cool a month before that. It's tucked out of the way, there's no incentive to go there, and it's a little drab. The saving grace is you have the chance to get a box of Wondrous Secrets, and selling it for a hefty sum to Grace or the Servant of the Flame would be a massive rush. The Devil's Roar has had the potential to be an endgame content region, or hard mode, but Rare just takes away from it each update rather than adding to it. It's in a really weird place too, where they can't and won't remove it, but it also takes up a lot of server capacity. I would love to see something done with it, like super voyages or super world events. Or how about some sort of change to the region where the hazards disappear, with maybe some map changes? Maybe when Flameheart comes back, it could start to become a Reaper area where he stages his forces and attracts people to PvP there. All in all, Forsaken Shores was a good update, and I still have fond memories of the hype, but as I've sat down and actually planned these videos, nostalgia has definitely blinded me, at least a little bit. How do you guys feel about Forsaken Shores? Is it still one of the best updates, or is nostalgia changing our perceptions? Please let me know down in the comments, I read absolutely all of them. Thanks for watching, make sure you subscribe for more updates explained, and I'll see you in the next video. Cursed Sails is next, by the way.